If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brien Jackson, not Brien Taylor. Mr. Jackson, if you're nasty, have some fun. Do your 5 minutes and rock them here in our Baltimore Sports Media Superstar competition.
All right, well, since I am Brien Jackson and not Brien Taylor, and I'm not serving a federal cocaine trafficking sentence, I will be able to watch the NFL draft, the first round, 3 weeks from tonight. And I will get to see the Baltimore Ravens make the 17th overall pick in that draft. That's about the highest they've picked in a while. Very rare that they get a chance to nab the kind of talent you get at 17. And they've picked a pretty good year to do it, all things considered. It's a very, very deep draft. And they have done an excellent job of plugging a lot of the gaping holes on this roster going into the draft. A month ago, it looked like they really needed a wide receiver. They clearly needed a second tight end to run Gary Kubiak's offense. Now they've picked up Owen Daniels on a one-year deal. If he's healthy, should have a great pairing there with Dennis Pitta. They've got Steve Smith, a veteran plug-and-play guy who's going to give you toughness, who's going to work over the middle, who's going to complement Torrey Smith and Jacoby Jones going down the field really well. They've added a center, Jeremy Zuttah, that's going to take over Virginio Gradkowski and really bolster that a little bit. Still have some needs, a right tackle. And I don't know if Ricky Wagner's the guy, but Gary Kubiak does have a really long track record of filling offensive line positions with guys that you don't necessarily think of as being big-time offensive linemen and turning them into Pro Bowlers. So, Ricky Wagner, Gary Kubiak may work wonders with him. He may be a Pro Bowler in the near future, or may not, and they may go right tackle in the draft. Going to need to do something to address the running back position. We keep hearing that they want to get a backup quarterback. I don't know if that's going to be in the draft or not. It certainly isn't going to be in the first two nights of the draft. But what a lot of people aren't talking about outside of a position or two, and what I really would like to see the Ravens do myself, I'd like to see the defense get a little bit of work now because, frankly, and I know I'm in the minority on this because I know a lot of people just haven't looked at the Smith signing and the Daniels signings and the other moves they've made there as lighting the world on fire. They saw the offensive line be absolutely atrocious last year. They saw the entire offense really hold this team back at crucial moments when they had a chance to get over that hump and maybe get themselves into the playoffs. But I really like where the offense is at right now. I don't think they have that many holes. I think with an accomplished offensive coordinator, an accomplished offensive system that knows how to move the ball on the ground, they're going to get that done. And the places I'm a little worried about now are really switching over onto the defense. Nobody's really talking about Corey Graham being gone and opening one of those top three cornerback positions. I like Jimmy Smith and Ladarius Webb, obviously, but am I really confident in Asa Jackson stepping up to fill the third spot in an age in the NFL where you really need three corners that can go out there and cover anybody on any down? Am I confident in Shockey Brown to do that? No, not really, to be blunt. Am I confident in Terrell Suggs and Elvis Dumerville holding up for another year as they get older and being a wrecking crew on the outside linebacker position? A little, but not as much as I'd like to be. Am I confident that Haloti Ngata can hold up for another season and play at a really high level with some of the injury issues he's had and just the general decline in his dominance there in the interior line? No, not really. So there's a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball in this draft, and there are a lot of guys that are going to be there at 17, one way or another, on how this draft shakes out, that can really come in here and make that one of the elite defensive units in the NFL, in my opinion. And I'll give you a couple names. I really like Justin Gilbert, the cornerback. I like Darqueze Dennard, the cornerback out of Michigan State. I think these guys are great compliments to Jimmy Smith on the outside, potentially. They've got size, they've got wingspan, they got great ball hawking ability, they're great in man coverage. And I think if you put one of those guys opposite Jimmy Smith, if he can sustain the level of play he had last year, let them grow in that role and shift Ladarius Webb inside and let him cover guys in the slot, that is a great trio of cornerbacks that's only going to get better and is really going to frustrate a lot of receiving units in the league. I do like HaHa Clinton-Dix, and obviously the Ravens have a big hole at safety. Really nobody who stands out at you as that can hold the free safety position, so he'd obviously come in and contribute right away. I think he's a very likely pick, although I don't know. It increasingly looks like he's not going to be there, because it doesn't look like St. Louis wants to nab him, and that he's probably not going to fall to 17. And I don't know if the Ravens are going to plan on trading up to get anybody in a draft this deep, and with fewer draft picks than they've had the last few years. But what I would really like to see this team address in one fashion or another, and one glaring weakness on this team that I don't think gets enough discussion around here, is the interior of the defensive line, and specifically getting some guys in the interior line who can get after the passer in the interior. There was a lot of talk last year about how the defense at times wasn't clutch and couldn't hold leads late, couldn't get the offense the ball back. Big reason for that, there was no interior pass rush from this team last season. There were no guys who, when they needed to dial it up, beat their man one-on-one, could make a move and get it. They've got a lot of big run stuffers, not a lot of pass rushers. So that's what I would like to see them do. If you disagree, and I'm sure a lot of you do, you can call in. You can talk to these guys today, 410-481-1570. It's WNST, WNST.net. Or if you want, you can get at me on Twitter. It's at Brien Jackson, BRIEN_JACKSON. Get at me. Let's talk about that tonight. Tell me who you want the Ravens to draft, and I'll tell you why I disagree.
Good work!
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.